Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big update here today in regards to the United States monetary policy when it comes to their next Federal Reserve meeting. You can see the next Federal Reserve meeting is within 12 days. It's on September 17th. And we now have virtual confirmation when you look at the FedWatch tool that there will be at least a 0.25 basis point cut after the announcement of some revised data in regards to the jobs report, and also a very poor jobs report as it pertains to the estimated August numbers that have just recently come in. They came in way under the projections, and they were all part-time jobs. So when you look at this from a micro picture, it's a great situation, especially considering we are in a very time precious period when you're talking about possibly 4 or 5 months where we really need to see money flow into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, and into all of our alts off of Ethereum and off of Base and things of that nature. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So you can see the next meeting. This is the meeting on September 17th. There is an 89% chance right now, almost a 90% chance, we will see a 0.25 basis point cut. There's a 10% chance we're going to see a 0.5 basis point cut because of the recent jobs report. This is saying there's a 100% chance. I don't know if maybe maybe I'm blocking it, but it says 100% chance there's an ease, 0% chance no change, and obviously 0% chance of a hike. And so when we look at this timeline and you think about Bitcoin possibly reaching an all-time high, maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, sobering up, realizing, can it hit 140? Can it hit 150? Can it hit 180? Whatever it ends up hitting, there's going to have to be money flow. There's going to have to be hopefully a meme coin boom to where we see many of us are in lower cap memes. We're trying to, make some serious money. Will one of our memes actually see a seismic gain to where it does 100x? I mean, I think that's the hope for all of us. So we want there to be as much opportunity as possible. We want the monetary policy in the United States to give us as much chance, like we saw with COVID, with the stimulus, with all the new money being introduced. Now we've got the stock market at an all-time high. Now we have a calming geopolitical situation. We'll see with Ukraine and Russia, although that's already been priced into the market. It's been an ongoing war for almost 4 years now. Even if it doesn't get solved, we're still going to have a very rampant bull market that's going to have a limited effect of that geopolitical situation. The only thing that could happen geopolitically would be a brand new war that would be introduced to the markets that they previously didn't know about. That could potentially have a negative impact, but right now we're not seeing it. The Israel-Iran war, it was 12 days. It's been paused now. There's a ceasefire. Maybe it'll kick up again, but I don't think it'll kick up within the next 4 or 5 months, which is the real window when it comes to hopefully when our big gains will be. If you believe in the 4-year cycle, if you believe in what Bitcoin has done and how it's cooperated post-halving, very, very routine 4-year cycle for Bitcoin, you would think the all-time high for Bitcoin of the cycle would be within the next month or two, and then that would catapult the alts. As you can see, I mean, they're saying 90% chance now after the jobs report of the 0.25 cut. You could also say, well, what if that's already been priced in, but it's still going to ease? So even if it's been priced into the stock market already because there's anticipation it's going to happen, the reality is not only is it bullish in the stock market, it's going to be a lower interest rate. So it's going to make buying things easier, and it's just better in terms of cash flow and disposable income for people. And then you take a look at October 29th, you've got around a 70% chance. This is a 70% chance of, that would be 2 cuts from here. So right now we're at around a 4.5 interest rate. This would be a 4 flat. There's a 70% chance from where we're at right now. This is late October. So you think about the runway that we have, whether or not you believe in a 4-year cycle or an extended cycle, whatever, even if it is just a normal 4-year cycle or relatively normal, we have significant runway in October, in November, and in December. And people are even talking about maybe early 2026 for the meme coins. And we know in 2021 it operated differently in terms of the double top. We don't know what's going to happen exactly, but the point is, late October, that's still, I mean, we could get back-to-back Fed meetings with rate cuts. And I mean, this is a serious thing. It's not a guarantee that, our coins are going to boom. You've got December 10th And there's even a 64% chance of another cut. So they're saying that now this is where it gets really hard to forecast because there's so many different indicators that are taken into account. We could look a month and a half from now and the chances of there being, the interest rate being 3.75 could be 5% chance, and it might, there might be a high probability it might stay the same because they might do a 0.25 cut and we might see higher inflation because there's some expectation with all the tariffs that Trump has imposed. We might see a little bit higher inflation. The Fed's been very, very timid when it comes to rate cuts because of the aggressive tariffs Trump has put on countries. So the question is, if we see higher inflation, will the Fed turtle up and say, all right, we did the 0.25 cut, but now it's affecting inflation and all the tariffs are affecting inflation and there was a lag period. Now we're seeing higher prices and it's a problem and we're not going to do any more cuts. We don't know. And maybe we'll get a revised jobs report because they keep revising these. And maybe in the revised jobs report, it will be significantly better. And if the jobs report, that if it gets revised and it's better, that's actually bearish in terms of rate cuts because at that point they wouldn't see the need to necessarily stimulate the market with lower interest rates if the jobs reports are very good and there's a lot of full-time jobs that are added. That is something that happened back in the summer. Now, the problem is there was inaccuracies with what was reported, and it's the same thing that happened back in 2023 and 2024 under Biden. They would report decent job growth, but then they would revise it 3 or 4 months later and it would come down. And that's kind of where we're at now. And that's why everyone is saying, and I covered a video, I did a video a few weeks ago about Powell at a meeting, basically admitting, saying, yes, the rate cuts have to come. We're doing it. So he's been saying that for weeks, but now people are saying, well, we might actually like a 0.5 cut. It's not going to be 0.25. It's going to be 0.5. The FedWatch tool is saying there's a 10% chance of a 0.5 cut. But either way, we should get a spread out cut. Right now, the FedWatch tool is predicting a cut in September, a cut in October, and a cut in December. Again, there are a lot of indicators that will affect this and change in terms of the odds of there being cuts. But they're basically predicting a 0.25 basis point cut during the next 3 Fed meetings before 2026. So this is a big thing. And listen, we can only hope that the monetary situation is good enough for cryptocurrency and the geopolitical situation is calm enough within the next 6 months or it might not even be 6 months. I mean, at this point, it might be 5 months for our coins to do well. I do feel like we are losing a little bit of runway here, and it is what it is. I mean, you had the Trump launch of the World Liberty Financial, which it's down 41% since the pre-sale was over, and it was originally... it launched with a valuation of around $28 billion, and there were a lot of people saying it was going to go to $1, and you've got all the mess with Justin Sun where they froze all of his coins. I think investing into any coin that's had a pre-sale that has a significant vesting schedule, unless it's a very long vesting schedule, it's extremely challenging. If you've been into cryptocurrency for over 6 months, you'd realize many of these so-called utility coins have very little utility, and they're just a headache because of the vesting schedule and the coins that just get dumped onto the market. All of these early people that got in, when it comes to pre-sale buys at 1.5 cents or 5 cents, there were 2 different periods. They're going to be receiving their coins through a vesting schedule. They're just going to meet when they get the coins because they're up 4 or 5x. They're very likely going to dump them onto the market. So there's more coins introduced. There's not more demand. If anything, there's less demand with more coins onto the market. So I think a lot of this stuff, this is tied to Trump. But the other thing with this coin, and this is the problem, I don't think in terms of the legality, Trump is really able to promote this coin. If you guys remember, Trump launched his meme coin, Official Trump, the day before his inauguration. He launched it on January 19th. Or maybe January 18th, days before his inauguration, because he knew that there could be some compliance issues. And then when it came to this World Liberty Financial, he had to retire from the board, and now his sons run it. So I would stay away from some of this. It is a liquidity drain. It's unfortunate. The administration does have very positive crypto policy, but it is a monetary extraction for Trump. There's no doubt about it. You can say, well, this coin does have real world value because a lot of cryptocurrency in general is very speculative by nature. And if you've got the literal president of the United States backing it, that is a very positive thing because of how speculative it is, for sure. And it is tied to a stablecoin USD1, which does have real world backing, real monetary, real fiat backing to it, because it is a legitimate stablecoin on BNB. But it's just not worth it. Why would I invest into a coin and I'm seeing the coin it's at fully diluted $20 billion? What am I going to make off of that? I mean, yeah, if it goes to $1 trillion, I'll make a ton of money. Is that worth? Are we really banking on it going to $1 trillion or even $500 billion fully diluted? And you have to contend with people that bought early in pre-sales dumping on you who are insiders. I don't see the point in investing into anything like this. And there's people in comments that were saying, "Oh, you're wrong on this. You should buy it." Because I was telling people I would stay away from it. It doesn't make sense. What is the value in investing into a coin? Really, any coin outside of one that's like maybe 1 in 100. I mean, there are a few coins that I would look at that around 1 billion, and I'd say, okay, like BitTensor, all right, Aerodrome, you could see the higher market cap on investment because it could still do a 20 or 30x even with the higher market cap, because it's, I mean, a lot of the coins are already on the market. It's not like you're dealing with 80% of the supply being locked and it's going to be released on a vesting schedule. So that's a real problem that I have with World Liberty Financial. But just in general, even if this coin was fully out and there was no coins hung up and locked and it was fully circulated, I'm not buying a coin that had a pre-sale that starts with a market cap of $5 or $6 billion. It's not worth it. It just really isn't. And I don't buy utility play. I mean, you buy a utility play, like you buy an AI agent or you buy just a random AI coin. It might as well be a meme coin. There's not really nothing that backs it. There's so many of these AI coins that we had that bubble in 2024. The coins went down 97, 98%. I mean, there's nothing to back the coins by. It's a utility play, really. So you're growing up in crypto, you realize that, and a lot of this utility stuff and people obsessed with utility, it's just like, dude, it's the same thing. You have to worry about vesting schedules and people getting in early. And sure, you have to worry about that with meme coins as well. But if you know what to look for with meme coins, that can be alleviated, especially coins that have been out for a longer period of time. So, I mean, it's a different type of investing for sure when it comes to meme coins versus utility. But something like this, even though it's backed by Trump, I'm not even sure Trump can really talk about it because of his situation with him being the president. Remember when he launched they launched that meme coin specifically right before he became president officially. He was president-elect. He was not the president. I think that's probably has to do with some type of legal thing that they were trying to get around. So that's what I would say on that. But guys, the point is, we can only hope for a good. And look, you can say, well, okay, how many people say we're in a recession? It's a longer period of a recession because we had back-to-back negative growths in 2023, and so it's a hidden recession. People could say the job market is terrible, the housing is terrible. We need good, healthy monetary policy over the next 6 months. Whatever happens with the market, whatever happens with the government, whatever happens with the cost of living, all of that, those are different levers, right? If we just want to be in a position to where there's not going to be any monetary policy that affects the potential of a super cycle or, some type of blow off top. Because you could see a geopolitical situation, you could see some type of monetary, what if they kept the rates at 4.5%? But no, the rates are coming down, possibly all the way to 3.75. People can say, well, it's ill-advised, it shouldn't happen, because the inflation right now we're dealing with, they say stagflation. From a crypto perspective, because it's very time sensitive, we like the rate cuts, and Trump likes the rate cuts as well. And with the jobs report, there should be rate cuts, honestly. And the inflation is still at 2.7%. It's not like the inflation is out of control. Now, you can say the inflation over time, because of the way the Trump tariffs work, it's more of a lag. It will have an effect. And if you combine the inflation of the tariffs and the inflation of lower interest rates, you could be looking at a bit of an issue. But we wouldn't really be dealing with stagflation now, would we, if we have a 3% GDP growth in Q2 and we're expected to have a 3.5% growth in Q3? I think they actually revised the Q2 numbers to make it 3.3%. So, I mean, we've had significant growths. We had a contraction in Q1, but it's been very positive Q3 and a good projection in Q2 was good and a good projection in Q3. And we're coming up on the end of Q3 at the end of September. And then we'll get the Q3 numbers late in October, and that's when the meeting is. October 29th is the meeting after this. The September 17th meeting, this meeting, there's going to be probably a 0.25 cut. People are going to push for a 0.50 cut. I think the administration is going to push for a 0.50 cut because they probably sense they can get it. I don't know if they will get it, but and then the meeting in October, you should get another 0.25 cut on top of the 0.25 cut in September. And so we just want it to be as positive as possible. We want the interest rates lower. It's going to be a better situation in terms of people and more money being dumped into the market. And it's more of a positive chance. I mean, this is a micro thing, right? Of course, it's micro. It's within the next 4 months. Macro wise, look, I don't know. We'll have to see how the inflation reacts. But yes, it does cause higher inflation when you lower interest rates. The inflation, though, is stable. It's not terrible. It's under 3%. So I don't know what to tell people. This is more of a crypto sensitive thing in terms of getting these interest rates down, especially in terms of a timing to where we may only have 2-3 months, or maybe it'll be 2021 and maybe there'll be another chance a few months after the initial top. And people are saying, I mean, I've seen a lot of people that say Bitcoin's top is going to be 140K. And I hope that's not true. And I think based off of what Bitcoin has done, when you look at 2021, the top being 69K, when you look at what it's done right after the halving, I would say it goes from 69 to it. But now it's like we're I mean, who knows, right? But I would say 69, at least give me a 3x after that. At least give me a 3x. That's like 175. You know? Give me a 3x from the previous cycle high. I mean, if we can't get a 3x from the previous cycle high, it feels like it's going to be hard for Bitcoin to catapult into the stratosphere of like 500K or a million. So that's really what I would hope. But either way, guys, that's just the current update on the financial situation for crypto. Make sure you like the video down below. Thank you for watching.